Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. I got to tell you, I just have to tell you that one of my favorite guests of all time is here. But first, I have to mention the fact that Michelle is here. Michelle, it's so nice to see you again. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing amazing. I'm very excited. This is me and Shelley's first time getting to meet. So thank you,
Yes.
Shelley, for coming and spending this time with us.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And this is Shelley Meche'tte, and
Yes.
she is what she does is she helps women get unstuck and discover their God-given purpose and confidently pursuing their dreams, which is an important aspect that a lot of people don't. I don't have any dreams. I can't follow my dreams. What dreams? I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't figure it out. And you help people figure it out, by gum.
Yes, actually, since we have talked, I've actually grown my business and niched a little bit more since then. So I've actually began working with mompreneurs, and I began working with mompreneurs, helping them to confidently balance both motherhood and business or career goals without the burnout and without the guilt. And so that is still an aspect in there where we talk about being able to get unstuck and fulfill those goals and to really do those things that you've been called to do. But I have narrowed it down a little bit more to working with mompreneurs.
I am so impressed with people that are women that are both business owners and moms, and they're
Hmm.
trying to be a wife, and they're sometimes,
Yes,
sometimes
sometimes.
not. Yeah, and it really is. It's a hard life, and it's difficult, and everybody needs all the help they can get.
Yes, it can be. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of facets to it. And a lot of times as women, as we've discussed before, Kevin, we get caught in these titles. We get caught in what society tells us we should do, how society says that we should look. When society says it's okay for us to chase a goal, when society says it's time for you to stop chasing that goal now. So society tries to put all of these different types of caps and different types of limitations just because you are a woman. If I want to be out in the field, if I want to be working, if I want to have a business, then I have to play with the big boys, So why do I have to become the man to, and let go of the femininity that I have? And then it says, well, once you become a mom, you shouldn't want those other things. You should be 900% focused on your child and your family. And while the focus does change, it does. It changes when we become parents. When we become parents, we like to focus so much on just when you become a mom, but when you become a parent, focus changes. And it should, but it doesn't mean that we can't still pursue goals. It doesn't mean that we still don't have dreams. It doesn't mean that we still don't want businesses. It's about not us being having to deny, but maybe having to adjust.
Shelley. Women, their places in the home. Their place. I'm gonna get shot here in any second.
Did he just tell us our places in the home? Risha, is that what
I
he
didn't
told
hear
us?
nothing. I didn't hear nothing. I know I didn't. We're going to agree to agree he did not say that.
You know what? I think I'm with you. I think I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Well, it really is not fair, because when you're talking about an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to do their own business, and children come along with women in their life at one point or another in a lot of cases, and
Hmm.
and so do relationships and all of that. And why can't you have it all?
Yeah. Yes. There's an amazing quote that I love, and it says, you can have it all, you just can't have it all at the same time. And that's true, you know. And I heard Katharine Hepburn say, women can have it all. We just can't have it all at the same time. And it's a quote really that actually released me because, again, I'm trying to do it all. I'm trying to do it all at the same time. I'm trying to prove that I can do all of these things and I can put everything on my shoulder. And I'm doing it while I'm dragging, while I'm frustrated, while I'm burned out, while I'm angry, you know, while I'm doing it while while I'm holding all of these things because I'm trying to prove that I can do it just as well as this person, or I don't have to drop this, or I can do it just as well as before I became a mom. And you don't have to. You don't have to have that pressure. You're allowed to put some things down. You're allowed to readjust. You're allowed to say, I'm going to pick this back up in a year, or I'm going to pick this back up in 6 months. We're allowed to maneuver. We all have pencils, and pencils have erasers at the end. I can erase and then I can rewrite.
That
Mm.
is that's a bumper sticker
That's
right
a
there.
t-shirt. Yep.
Yeah. And Rochelle, why can't and I had asked this question for both of you, but why is it in our society that women are feel or they're forced to feel like if they in order to compete with the big old knuckle dragging guys that are out there, that they can't have their God-given femininity
Mhm,
and what they bring to the table, which, although be it different, is no less dramatic and needed
mhm,
for our society.
mhm.
Because Rochelle, do you feel that you have to act a certain way, and when you're in business, like you were in car sales or doing what you were doing, did you feel like you had to act a certain way to fit in with the dudes that are out there?
Not really fit in. If anything, it was competition. I'm in a man's world, and that's, it kind of came to that. I definitely had to learn to communicate differently and hold a lot of boundaries. A lot of times it just, for me, it straight up was just competition. And a lot of times it was like, oh, well, if she can do that better than me, then I'm less than. And they already expected me to fail or not do as well as they would have. And then, that comes into the frustration and the pride when they see you actually able to do something that they denied you being able to do. I think really that kind of sits with that. I don't know if you agree, Shelley, but it kind of
Mhm,
comes down to a pride in a person, whether you're man or female. If you think
mhm.
someone is more or less than you, I think that definitely drives pride, and it changes the whole dynamic of how somebody will treat you.
I absolutely think that that is true. Pride will change that. What I can say that I can say that in my experience, however, being in a position where I may have a level that's over my male counterpart, they don't feel as though, and this is my experience, that they didn't feel as though I came into the position with an intellect, you know, as high as theirs. They didn't feel as though they should be subservient, for lack of better word, that they should be taking those things from me. If I wanted to change something, if I saw that something is going to be better with a different procedure, it's always questioned first,
Yep. Mhm.
versus you're not going to question a male who's in that same position. And so, yes, I do believe that there's a level of pride, there's a level of competition, but it's inner. It's not with me. I want it to be, you know, I want everything to flow and to work. And this is me personally. I can't speak for every person, but I am about the community, you know, of the team and us working together. Whereas my experience has been, if I'm in a certain position and a man has to answer to me, it's a little bit of a dance first.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I love that there's also the flip side of it that's they start to respect you.
Hmm.
And I mean that kind of serves itself. And they see you as one of them and kind of on their level rather than just some dainty woman. They're like, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mess with her." So the other
Yes, but
side
it's
of it is
and I
beautiful.
guess my thing is it comes afterwards versus it
Yes,
being there from the beginning. So
for
when I
sure.
step into the position, I have to earn your
Yep.
respect with the work that I do, which is really above and beyond sometimes just to earn that respect, versus my counterpart who may be male. He doesn't have to come in to earn that. It's automatically given, and then he sustains it.
Very true.
Yep. And I just want to point, I just want to point this out that when you have a man in business and he's tough, he's assertive, he's strong, he knows what he wants, he's considered, that's considered a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman does that, oh man, she's bitchy.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that way? And it needs to change, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Rochelle, you want to take this one?
Mm. I mean, I'm I can say that's where you might see the red flags in me, if you will. That's where I might have some weakness because I will swing. But Carla, we don't need to talk. We're just gonna fight this out. Like, man, that's what men do, right? You want me to be a man? Well, um, no, I think there's many perspectives on that. And it does. It depends on the person because even
Mm-hmm.
woman to woman, you see
Yeah.
this happening in business a lot, and it's almost
Mm-hmm.
easier to get in with the guys, and have that respect and the backup and the
Mm-hmm.
learning because other females are just like they see you as their
Yes,
enemy until they
sometimes
know
that
your
is
name.
true too. So it's like, what do you
Uh-huh.
do if you can't win on either end?
Yeah.
What do you do? And this is
Yep.
why you have to be able to own who you are, own your confidence, own your purpose, and own your position, because you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know when you walk in the doors if you're going to be received, if it's going to be a little bit of a dance here and there, if you're going to have to earn that respect. You just don't know. And this is one of the reasons why I enjoy being my own business owner and working with people who really desire to come and to work with me as a coach with them, because of that point right there. I've had some wonderful experiences working in corporate, and then again, like I said, I've had some dances, you know
Mhm.
that I've done as well.
So let me see if I can understand this because I'm just a guy and we're not very smart. But let me see if I can understand. So you walk into a place and you are going to be the boss and you have to deal with the guys and their egos. And then you have to deal with the women and their stuff. That's got to be really hard for somebody to negotiate through all of that with everybody.
Yes, and to women's, credit, I try to look at it even on both sides. I try to look at it from their point of view, or I try to look at things, in the eyes of compassion. Because if I'm going through this, probably that other woman had to do that as well. She probably came in feeling the same way, like I have to be tough, I have to be this, I can't break. And so then when someone else comes in, you already kind of have that exterior of I'm not going to let this person come in or do this, or I've been in this position this long and this particular person is not going to come in and break me or do that. So unfortunately, it's a pretty rough cycle until someone steps in and says, I'm not your competition. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to grow the company. I'm here to pour into my team. And so when you're able to see that, and that's really the mark of a good leader, who can step into a situation and say, I see where some of the cracks are. Let me try to be the glue so that we can take this to a new level, so that we can start anew, so that we can do things differently tomorrow than we did today.
See, and you
I
hit
think
that
that's
right
awesome.
nail on the head right there when you said compassion, because that's where my brain also went when Kevin asked that question. Is you think about business, people in business generally are not very emotionally intelligent, right? Like emotions is something that they learn to play with through the
Mm,
sales and tactics of other people to make money. So them themselves are pretty away from the idea of that. But when you all of a sudden step into that,
mhm,
the way people will see you, way people will respect you, um, really, it like you said, it changes the whole dynamic of everything.
mhm,
Because I'm guessing you've probably been down that road where you had somebody kind of trying to battle you. They didn't know where they stood with you or where you stood with them.
mhm.
And then all of a sudden you were like, hey, like we're here for each other and ourselves. Let's focus on
Exactly.
that rather
Yeah.
than right.
Yeah.
That's
And the good thing for me is I've really never had a bout with another woman. Been very fortunate for the most part to really be able to step in and really have an opportunity to build that bond. So mine has pretty been on the male female version. Again, it's not that I haven't run into those type of women. It's just that I haven't had to be in the midst of it. You know, I had a choice to work with you or
right,
not, and I chose not to.
right.
So
You win. You didn't have to, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. And by the way,
Yep.
we're talking with Shelley Meche'tte, and go to her website, which is Shelley Meche'tte, and that's spelled MECHETTE.com. It took me a
yes,
while before I was
you got it.
Machete. What is it? It's Shelley Meche'tte. She's also an author, and her latest book is Power Minds, POWHER Minds, and reflective thoughts designed for everyday power women and their legacies. I love
Yes.
that. And there's several other books that we're going to mention while we're here. We need to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk more with Shelley. I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm just going to stay out of it. You guys are really good. We'll be right back. At 67 years young, I never thought I'd feel this good again. But thanks to Purium's Ultimate Transformation Lifestyle, to date, I've lost 37 pounds and gained energy, confidence, and a whole new outlook on life. This isn't a diet. Purium is a complete lifestyle change, giving me all the natural, organic, nutrition-packed superfoods that fuel my body, crush my cravings, and help me burn fat naturally without starving myself. No gimmicks, no guesswork, just a simple, proven system that works. Superfood shakes, detox support, and real results. If I can do this at 67, imagine what you can do. It's your time to feel better, look better, and live better with Purium. Let's do it now, and let's do it together. Go to www.positivetalkradio.net and click on the Transform You to get started. That's positivetalkradio.net. Transform You. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, right here on the Brushwood Media Network and other places. Shelley Meche'tte is with us. Michelle's with us, and it is true, Shelley. I have lost 37 pounds, and I didn't even have to take my leg off to do it.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, and it's on its way to even being. I'm going to be my sexy self again, and
That's right.
it's going to take me. It's going to take me 50 years, and anyway, so we're talking with Shelley. She is if you were to describe the type of coach that you are, what
Mhm.
kind of coach would you describe yourself as being?
Yes, I am a purpose and confidence coach, and I am now again, like I said, I'm working with mompreneurs now, and so I love the fact that I have an opportunity to help them balance both of those worlds. And I will also, and I'm excited about doing this, be stepping into coaching those moms who would like to turn their stories into an opportunity for to be on stage. And so for those moms that are looking for speaking opportunities because now they're ready to take their business to the next level through speaking, I will also be coaching those moms too. So I'm working on that right now.
Congratulations, you're doing a
Thank
whole
you.
bunch for women throughout the world, everywhere.
I love women, and I
So
want to
do
see us
I.
get, yeah, look at us having something in common. And
I think we love women for different reasons, but
possibly now this is possible. But the love is there.
Yes.
indeed, well, the my problem is that I am not an aggressive male unless I'm playing sports or something, and so I really enjoy the softer side. And women, I enjoy having conversations with them because it's. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's hard to have a conversation with a guy, and
Hmm.
without us
Sometimes.
getting all.
Hmm.
caught up in egos and you know what I mean?
Sometimes, but then
That's
there are wonderful, amazing men who sit and say, hey, let me be an ear. And so I appreciate those too. We get a chance to learn from each other. Men have an opportunity, if they're willing, to learn from women, and we have an opportunity, if we're willing, to learn from you guys as well.
Mhm.
well, you just said the magic word is if they're willing.
Yes. Everything is still a choice. It's still a choice. But I believe that men have beautiful things to offer and beautiful insight, and just the way that you see the world is different from the way that I see it. And so when we have an opportunity to express these things to one another and really have an open mind and an open heart to receive that, I believe that there's value on both ends.
Yeah.
That, guys, does it make sense to you that we think so differently than you guys do?
I think for me, it's okay for you to think differently than I do. I don't want to think like you. It,
I don't blame you.
it seems exhausting,
Yeah, yeah, it's funny because they think that we are exhausting, but
right?
really, I'm like, I couldn't keep myself together for a day if I had to be
I
in your head.
right. I don't want to think like you at all.
Yeah,
So I'm okay listening to your perspective and gleaming from you and seeing how you view things, because
yeah,
I didn't think of it that way, and I'm okay with that.
yep.
That's really is remarkable because we think that everybody thinks like us, and that's just not so.
See? Exhausting.
Yeah,
we
it
and
could be so simple.
oh sure, you guys are simple. You bet. You, what's funny is when you're talking about the relationship between men and women, men think that women are so complicated, and women tend to just think that we're nuts. Um,
I think it goes
I
both
think men
ways, and that's fair.
right, it could go both ways, but I do think men think that women are complicated. And what I will say about that is sometimes I have set back after, having a interesting conversation with my husband. And sometimes I have set back and I was like, now why did we have to go through this entire this entire circle to get right back to here? And
Yes.
my husband would be like, you know, tried to tell you that 15 minutes ago.
See, that's where
And
the
I'm like,
listening comes into play.
that right. And I'm like, okay, I can see where maybe I may have given off, three or four different things at once. And possibly this time it could have been confusing. But then I have to go back to, but had you listened in the first place, then I never would have been confused by it.
Yep.
So whose fault? So whose fault is it really? Hmm.
it just amazes me the differences that we all have, and I think it's really cool that we can sit here and laugh about them because it really is, it makes the world go round and
Yeah.
stuff. But I just wish that men were more receptive, and actually, you've heard that old saying, God gave you one mouth and two ears,
Yes, I have.
and he did that for a reason so that you could listen more intently. And
More
I
Mhm.
than,
fully believe that if
yeah.
men would listen to their wives the first time, they wouldn't have to repeat themselves so much.
Well, they have two ears for double hearing. You see, it's kind of meant to be that way.
Hmm. See?
And sometimes it does. It really does. It's that I'm pretty sure as you work with people, you notice that it's not always the first time that it gets processed, but then it goes through that second time and you see those light bulbs go off in people and you're like, yes, that's exactly
It
what I
is,
meant.
and it's so true because how we perceive something many times is so different than how it was expected to be delivered. And so if I'm not in the right frame of mind, then no matter what you say, I could receive it in a way that it's just not going to hit. So on the other end, we have to be in a position to receive if we want to be able to communicate better, to even for ourselves, if we want to better ourselves, personal development, anything, we have to be in a position to receive. And I think that's where a lot of people, that's why we have to hit rock bottom so many times, because it's not until we hit that we go, oh,
Oh.
You
don't
know,
run into that.
and the men that are listening to this, I want to give you a tip. Can I give you a tip from somebody that was married for a long time and it was the best 6 months of my life? And but here's the thing, guys. If you listen to what she has to say, and then before you start responding to what she said, ask her this. This is what I heard you say. Is this
Mhm.
what you really meant to say? And what you'll find is that what she said, it's like that old thing where you got 10 people lined up and they start telling the story at the first person. By the
Mhm.
time it gets to the last person,
Telephone.
it's
Yes, the
completely different.
telephone. Yes.
Oh, is that what
Yep.
that's called? Oh, wow.
Yes, by
Yeah.
the time it gets to the last person, you've traveled to Jerusalem on a horse and,
Yeah.
skydive to get there.
So- oh, that is so funny.
It
But
always ends in a fight, though.
and yeah, listen, guys, and I mean that. Just listen, because you'll get a whole new insight
Mhm.
into your relationship and that kind of stuff. Especially when women are doing what you're doing with them, with their children and
Mhm.
their business, and trying to make all of that work. And then you got the guy in there somewhere and stuff. It's really tough, and so having a coach like you can be very, very beneficial to somebody.
Yeah, because it really can be tough, because there's so many things that I really believe that just us as people that we want to accomplish, that we want to see, come to pass. And then when we sit in a world that says you only have this amount of time because you're this age, or because you've decided to be a parent, or because there's a cap on you because of a gender, it really does begin to play with your mind and to play with the idea of, am I worth it? Am I worthy? Will I ever? Can I ever? Are the best years behind me? And the answers to that is no, no, the best years aren't behind you. And yes, you are worthy. And yes, your dreams can still come true. Yes, your goals can still come true. It doesn't matter what that goal or what that desire is. There is a way that we can work all of these things. There is a way that we could put time management together. There is a way that we could put self care together. There's a way that we can do this without burnout, without feeling less than, without feeling that we hold no value. There's a way to do this without sacrifice. You don't have to sacrifice you or your fulfillment because you desire to have a family. You do not have to sacrifice your family because you desire to be fulfilled.
It makes some people feel very guilty
Mm-hmm.
when they are taking time for themselves
Mm-hmm.
because they love themselves. But I'm convinced that if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else anyway. Um,
Absolutely.
and so you need to take time for yourself, and stuff. But Shelley, you are so brilliant. Now you're also speaking, are you not? No, I mean speaking in front of people in public.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I love it. When the pandemic happened, of course, everything went pretty much to virtual. And so really since the pandemic, I've been dancing, in the virtual world, having an awesome time. But I have now stepped back into, after I started last year. So after 4 years of doing online, I have stepped back into doing in-person events, which I absolutely love. So I get to have the best of both worlds now, being able to be virtual still and connect with some amazing people, and being able to have that touch. and see people again and really have the ability to pour into them, to connect with them. So that's exciting. And
100%.
now to have the opportunity to show other womenpreneurs how to do the same.
Hmm.
Well, and I'm really excited for young one over here because she's going to be doing, and I didn't even know that she could do this, but she's going to be holding dance classes for people in a facility, and I didn't even know how you could do such a thing. But she's becoming an entrepreneur herself. Now, if
I
you
love
could go
it.
back in the Wayback Machine, like I wish I could, I can't. But what advice would you give
Mhm.
a mid 20 something person who wants to be an entrepreneur who just happens to be of the fairer sex?
The first thing that I would tell you is to own your time. Time is precious and time is something that you cannot get back. So it is very essential for you to honor your time. And so what that means is if I say that my time from 6 to 7 in the morning is going to be, my gym time because I don't have a family, I don't have children, I don't have a husband. You could maybe you're living together or whatever, but at the end of the day, if you say, I'm going to honor this time because I want to build a business and I need to make sure that I have the time to build that business, I would say own that from 6 to 7. If it's gym time, honor you with that time to get yourself refreshed, to get yourself prepared, to so that you can lay out your schedule. Be very intentional about your day. People think that the big tip is, go after this or grab this or make sure that you're networking. The big tip is to own your time because if you never own your time, you can never own your business. You can never step into that position. You can never be in leadership because you'll never know how to properly own time. And so that is what I would tell them. Be sure to be intentional about your time, whether your business is starting in your home, whether you're a 9 to 5er and you're doing it part time, but especially if you're at home, because people will be like, you at home? Girl, let me call you. Let me do this, you
Yep.
know. And so you have to be like, no, my phone is off from 2 to 5. Those are my work hours. And unless it's an emergency, don't call me, and then lay out your day. Instead of just deciding I'm going to work from 2 to 5, know exactly what you're going to do. From 2 to 2:45, I'm going to answer emails. From 2:45 until 3 o'clock, I'm going to look for speaker opportunities. From this time to this time, I'm going to do research. Have everything laid out so that your time is accounted for.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, it's time to take a break. Sorry, I
Yeah.
had to do that. We're talking with Shelley Meche'tte and Brachelle, and this is a fascinating conversation. Are you having a good time, Brachelle?
Yes, and I have a question when we come back. So let's get this break over with.
Okay, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, and Brachelle is here, and Shelley is here, and Brachelle has a question, so I will just
Yeah.
shut up.
No, you're good, Kevin. Honestly, that whole time going through my head, the question kind of built on itself. because when you were talking about time, it really comes down to discipline. If you don't have
Hmm.
discipline with yourself, you have discipline with nothing. In your
Right.
relationships, it comes with following and setting boundaries. And my question
Hmm.
for you is, do you commonly get to see that when people learn their own discipline, they learn how they're communicating with themselves and they start to actually communicate with other people differently, and it changes their opportunities and the way they're able to be seen and to
Hmm.
live?
Here's what I found. I found that as a whole, a lot of people find the word discipline to be difficult. And so when we look at the word discipline, we it becomes like and I hate to use the word a negative, but it becomes a little difficult because it's like I have to do this or I have to stay here or I have to do that. So I throw out the word discipline and I ask you, how do you honor yourself? How do
Hmm.
you honor this moment? It's up to you to honor your business. And so when you begin to honor your business, what does that look like? Because discipline looks different for everyone across the board. So instead of you looking at, I'm going to do this at this time and do this at that, we understand that it is discipline and it is setting boundaries. But when you switch that to say, I'm going to honor myself today and honor my health mentally and emotionally by taking some time to just be with me, because then I'm going to be better for my business. I'm going to honor the success that I desire because I want to have my business up and running in the next 7 to 8 months. And so I'm going to honor that goal by taking time today from 2 to 5 to focus on that. When we begin to honor ourselves, honor our time, because now I'm showing appreciation. Each breath that you take is
Mm,
a blessing. So when I
mhm,
honor this time that I have, I view it as more of an opportunity than a discipline. And I find that people take that mindset and they're able to do more for themselves. So now I do honor the relationship and I honor
mm,
the time that I put in that relationship. I don't want that relationship to take away from me, to take away from what we have. So I take time to say, yes, I'm going to communicate better with me. I'm going to discipline myself better. And now those habits, they fall into other things like
mm,
relationships, like leadership, like communication, parenting. So it becomes a domino effect when you really decide to own your space by honoring your time.
mm.
And by the way, we have a young lady. Her name is Michelle, not Rochelle, and
Hi, Michelle.
she says, "Hello, Shelley. It's so nice to see you again." And she says hello to Rochelle. She even says hello to me, which is very nice. And and she says, honor yourself.
Yes.
And she agrees with you 100%. It is so cool. And Rochelle, did that answer your question?
Yes, 100%. If anything, it brought me a new perspective. So thank you for that, Shelley. Because when you change around the I have to do and I get to do, like
Mm-hmm.
I have to have discipline, well, I get to honor myself. That shift right
Yes.
there is a key thing. And I'm taking notes of everything you're saying because I think we can make some really good merch out of everything you say.
All
So.
right now. Don't drop no ideas over here now.
Start
Don't make me
preaching.
have to
I'm
connect with
listening.
you. Be like, okay, I'm getting ready to have to call you, girl. What we doing?
Yes. I'm down for anything.
And Michelle also says she loves learning from you guys, and so do I. I just have to tell you, Shelley, that I have had Michelle with me for a year, and there are some people that I have said to her when she says, "Well, do you want me to do this show? And do you want me to be there and stuff?" And there are some people that I say, "No, no, you have to be here for this."
And
And
he's
she said,
never wrong.
"Why?" Because you will learn so much from this person this is like a free therapy session. So it's really cool because you are dynamic in what you do. And
Oh,
that's
thank you so much. I take that to heart. I really appreciate that. I really do.
Well, and Rochelle is she's learning so much from. You've learned a lot from all the people that we've had on, but this is a really good understanding that in order to take care of others, you got to take care of yourself.
Hmm.
You got to love yourself. You've got to allow
Hmm.
time for yourself. And if there are people in your life, correct me if I'm wrong, Shelley, but if there are people in your life that do not want you to do that because you're not filling their needs the way
Hmm.
that they think you should, you got to
Yeah.
take care of yourself first. Am I correct in that?
You have to. You have to. And if there are people, like honestly, if there are people in your life, and they do not want you to care for you, you may want to think about repositioning them. You may want to think about repositioning.
To
I
the
am a
dumpster?
huge advocate of I tell my clients all the time, you have a right to reposition people in your life. And I think we become so afraid of that. Number one, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. I've been friends with this person, since 10th grade, and I'm never telling you not to be friends with them. I'm asking, do you need to reposition them? Just
Yeah.
because I've been friends with you since I was in the womb, it doesn't mean that our dynamic has to remain the same. And so if I need to reposition that dynamic because I'm in a different space in my life, or because you're not allowing me the opportunity for growth, or you're not allowing me the opportunity to just be me, or you're pulling more from me, than I'm able to give, we all only have a 100% bandwidth. And if you want the last, 2% of my bandwidth, I have to question that.
Mm. And it makes me think too about how it goes the other way, For me, when I changed my dynamic and my perspective and I started listening and learning and changing, a lot of the people who held their place in my life no longer were at the same frequency as me, if you will. And so
Mm-hmm.
they disappeared, but also for me it was a lesson to be able to reflect that the other way around. If I have a relationship with somebody and they're now setting boundaries and they're now putting themselves first, am I going to be the reason I get dropped off of that list because I'm not there to support them? Or am I going to help lifting them and doing that for their self? Because that's the same thing that I would want in return. And I think that's a
Exactly.
huge message that people need to understand is when you're going through this and you're changing and you're learning and you see how other people are communicating and relating with you, try to think about it from the other perspective and the other way around,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have our negatives, and if you're not good to yourself, you're not good to other people, and it's just the way it is.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love that perspective as well, because it goes back to the compassion, but it also goes to the communication. If I am changing, or if I see that you are changing, the whole thing is, when we change, we present ourselves differently, whether that's in the positive or the challenge. We present ourselves differently. Why? Because we have new ideologies now. We have new thoughts now. Oh, I have a perspective of, now I want to take better care of my health. So no, I'm not going to go out all the time and have chicken wings with you. So it becomes new perspective that we have. And with that new perspective, our relationships can alter and those relationships can change. So it's also a matter of not just me or the other person, not just us being there for one another, but the person who is changing, for them to be able to have the skills to say, hey, this is what's happening in my life right now. And so unfortunately, I probably won't be doing as many chicken wings, with you
Yep.
anymore. Is there another way that we can chill? Is there another way, that's not going to take me off of the path that I am on? We can do these things together. The problem is, a lot of times, the person who is growing, the person who is changing, they don't communicate that.
Mm. And I
And
have to
that can
ask you
be,
real quick, when you see that shift in them, do you see that other people are inspired by them being able to do that with themselves, or usually more of a push?
a lot of
Okay.
times, people begin to back off. But I think that they do that because we're missing the communication end. I
Okay.
think that we've been taught, so many times, and it's a lot more now. If someone, they hater this, hater that, Everybody is not a hater. I think there's a blend of everything that we have to look at. We have to look at taking care of ourselves. We also have to look at being the person to others that we would want them to be to us. We also have to look at the fact of, do I communicate my feelings and thoughts? Do I have the emotional intelligence to communicate the way I want someone to communicate with me? So I think that it's such a dynamic that a lot of times we push a lot towards one end and then we miss the other side, and then we get the other side right, and then we drop off the first side. So I think it's just a learning curve for us as people, that when we decide, or as we're learning, I should say, to take more time with self and to understand self, that we don't have to leave everything else behind. I think it's a whole learning mechanism, because this is still new for us. It's still new. Take time for yourself. It's not selfish. Look at your relationships more. All of this is still kind of new for us as a whole. And so we're not going to always get it right. So again, I believe in that communication, in us saying, hey, I'm seeing things differently. And the other person being able to communicate and say, dang, we used to be close. And now that you're doing this, I feel left behind.
Yeah, but can I still have my chicken wings?
Yes.
You can do whatever you want.
It just may not be as often.
That's right, because if you have chicken wings too often, you're going to be growing in the wrong ways. We need to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Shelley Meche'tte is here, and Brashelle is here. You guys are having a really good time. I'm enjoying this.
I'm loving this. I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
This is good.
We'll be right back. Don't anybody go anywhere.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. I got to tell you, I just love that song. I just love it. In any event, we're talking with Shelley Meche'tte. Go to her website, which is ShelleyMeche'tte.com. And would you like to spell your last? Oh, it's right there. But if you're
Let me see, which way did I go? There we go. Which way? There we are.
Listening to this on Brushwood or on a podcast later on, just spell your last name for them.
Yes, it is Meche'tte. So it's Shelley, Shelley, Meche'tte, Meche'tte.com.
I gotta. Michelle, who is listening to us, I think she wants to be on the show. Brashelle, what do you think?
I think maybe. I would love to know more about her because she's our #1 star this week.
All right.
And she is in between the commercials. She posted 9 different chats. So yeah, those chicken wings and she loves you guys and she loves that commercial and Shelley, she loves you and I was looking for you and I got to tell you, I hope it makes you feel as warm and fuzzy as it should because people love you, Shelley.
Oh, that is awesome. I love it. I love what I do. I love what I do. And I'm sure you guys have heard the old saying, that if you love what you do, that you'll never work a day in your life. And I really have to say, I love being able to pour into women, empower women. I love being able to see that spark in women when it connects. When they go, oh, I can do this. It's exciting for me. And I never want that to grow old. I never want to take that for granted. And so I want to always feel humbled that someone would come to me and and believe that I can help them get from point A to point B. It's a humbling feeling.
Mm,
It is, but it's also a very empowering feeling. When
Yes.
you're
yeah.
when you're following your passion, following your
Hmm.
heart, you know what you want to accomplish, and you're doing it. There is no better feeling in the world than that.
Very empowering. Yes, I must agree.
And if there's a woman
And
who wants to learn more about some of the books that you've written, what
Mhm.
are those books and a little bit about them and where they can find those?
Yes. Well, Kevin mentioned one of the books, which is PowHER Minds, and that is actually a quote book. I used to do quotes on Facebook, I think every Thursday or something like that. But anyway, someone had asked, they were like, "Where are you getting these quotes? Where can I get these quotes?" And I'm like, "Girl, they just came up in my head somewhere." I just woke up and was like, "Yeah." So I put them together. I put them together in that book, and I wanted it to be an opportunity for women to have that quote book, which is broken up of quotes of us being able to empower ourselves, and quotes for us to be able to empower our children, those who are looking at us, and quotes for us to be able to empower one another as women. And so I put that in there, and that was the motivation for that, to be able to speak life into myself, into my being, into my children, and to speak life into my fellow woman. And that is why I wrote that quote book. So that one is kind of close to my heart. I also have 70 Days of Happy, Life is Better When You Smile, which also came from Facebook. There was a challenge going on to be happy for 90 days, and so that even if something did happen, for you to be able to try to mentally see it in a different way. And I was generally already a pretty happy person, but I'm like, I'm going to take this challenge, and I found some really wonderful things in that 90-day challenge. And so during those days, I pulled out 70 things that I found during that challenge. And so that's filled with some things to just really help you tap into your own happiness. Is some of my own stories, is some things that I've gone through. I talk about my relationship with my biological father, and how to step outside that, because I felt abandoned by him. And so it learning how to adjust and move past those feelings of abandonment. So those are some of the things I talk about in there, and how we can still own our own happiness even through brokenness. So I've
Mm,
had many people really love that book.
and there's also a couple others, one of which is a journal. Now we here really do advocate for you to write it down,
Hmm.
because you can build a journal, and this is 70 Days of Happy journal.
Hmm.
And so, write the things that inspire you to be happy every day,
Yes.
and do one a day for 70 days, and then you can look at it. And you know what,
Hmm.
Shelley, you found, and it's true, it'll change your life. It'll change your
Yes.
perspective. It will change
Yes.
everything about you, won't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I really, we do have books that are, 30 days to happiness and things like that. What I found personally is, even though the 30 days and the 40 days, that will definitely change you and change your habits. But I found that when we put in a little more time and just decide, I'm going to take this just a little bit further, that particular habit becomes a lifestyle. And
mm,
so now it's literally just something that I do, because if I miss out on it, then it feels strange.
mm,
Yeah.
It feels weird now, because I've really made it a part of who I am. And so again, while I'm all for get in where you can fit in, if you can jump into a 30-day, if you can jump into a 15-day, get in where you can fit in. But I have found from that 90-day challenge that, like I said, the things that I took were about 70 days. So that's about 2.5 months. But I found that just going through this and being able to look at things just a little bit differently, not saying that it didn't happen, not acknowledging my feelings, because I think that that's a misconception about happiness, that you're not supposed to acknowledge that something went wrong, or that you're angry, or that someone ticked you off. No, we're going to acknowledge that.
mm.
And and then we're going to pull back and say, now that I'm mad, now that I'm angry, what do I do with this anger? We all get angry. It's how we handle ourselves in that anger that's going to make the difference.
That is so true. By the way, have you thought about writing a book of like your quotes? I'm just kidding, because you've done all of these things, and then the one I like also, and this is going to be a trivia quiz for Rochelle because I love to get her musical trivia quizzes. The name of the book is "Women Inspiring Nations," and who sang the song "I'm Still Standing"?
It was not a female, right?
No, but it
I'm still
was.
Okay.
standing. That one, I'm still standing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's on that
Sir
movie.
Elton Sir Elton
I
John
don't know
wrote
if it's Sir
Can't
Elton John. Yeah.
Really
See,
Tell.
and I do have
Oh,
that one in my phone, so don't come at
So
me yet.
so if anybody uses memory techniques in order to remember something, remember the book "Women Inspiring Nations." I'm Still Standing. Perfect.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah.
good, Shelley. Very, very good. We are it is so much fun because to talk to someone like you are so gifted at what you do, and you're
Thank
so
you.
talented, and you've been on so many shows and stuff. I hope you like this show enough to come back.
I love this show. You see, I come back every time. Every time. Can't stay away.
And Shelley, I gotta ask you because, and I'll say this in front of everybody that's listening. Rochelle adds something to the show, doesn't she?
Absolutely. I love this dynamic. I love it.
Good.
Hmm.
I do my
It's
best. Kevin has
awesome.
taught me so much.
No,
Thanks.
no. This is awesome, and I love the male female that you can get from both sides, and just bringing a fresh perspective. Oh, I love it.
I I I keep on telling her that she has to be on every show, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes life gets in the way. But when I'm working on it, I really am. I
She
really
does
am.
need to be on it. And and I just want to put it out there, like, so the next time that I come back, I need the co-hosting. I need the full dynamic of the
I
both of
got
you.
you.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Yeah. So I'm just putting it out there that I need the full effect.
Indeed,
Okay.
and she is.
Promise you'll get that.
And the cool thing is, Shelley, is that she's like a sponge. She soaks up the information that you provide and others have given her, and then she's able to bring it back. And then I just encourage her to let it be, and
Mm.
then that seems to be everything that puts it all together.
See, and that is the best place to be. That is the best place to be, when you can actually grab something and see how it applies to you and actually use it. Those are the best. The
Yeah.
best.
I
Have
learn
I made
something
you
every day.
have I made you uncomfortable yet, Rochelle?
No, no, no. I love being here. I love doing this. I told Kevin that even if he told me that he didn't want a co-host anymore, I would still try to join in, and I would make him because it really just is so powerful to be here, especially
Mhm,
being my age. And I mean, I've been through a lot of life, definitely, but
mhm.
to inspire people older and younger than me, and just to be able to have a communication where people are like, "Wow, you're
Yes.
not that dumb." You know? So-
I In the future, I want you to rephrase that.
okay.
You're
You
not
are
that
so
dumb.
smart.
You are so smart and gifted and talented and beautiful and all of these things that you need to own them. And and can I have some of your hair, by the way?
Um, maybe when it gets a little thicker. Uh,
At
but
least she
thank
didn't
you
say
so much,
no. At least
Kelly.
she didn't say no.
Exactly. Shelley,
Anyway,
we've run out of time. Again, it happens every time I do this show. We run out of time. But let's go over your information one more time so people can find you.
Yes, absolutely. You can connect with me on my website, which is www.shelleymeche'tte.com, and that is SHELLEYMECHE'TTE. MECHETTE.com. We can always connect on social media. I am on Instagram and Facebook at my name. If you are a mompreneur and you are looking to be able to confidently balance motherhood with your business or career goals, I also have a Facebook group called Moms with Purpose. You are more than a mom, and I would love for you to join me there. And if you have decided that you want to take your business to the next level and use speaking as a way to grow your brand and your business, you can also connect with me on Facebook at Stage Ready Speakers.
You've done this before, I get the impression. Shelley, thank you so much for Shell.
Thank you
so
guys.
much. You guys are just
Thank you.
you guys are just incredible. And thank you, Michelle, for adding so much to the show today.
Thank you, Michelle.
And we'll all see you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at KM.